Hi guys, and welcome to the channel. Today I just wanted to talk about a brand new crypto project, less than a month, I think it's 22 days old, which is Marshall Rogan Inu, with the ticker MRI. This is just like a sort of cross between a meme coin and a social slash charity token would be the best way to summarize it. But after looking around, I noticed that there's no real deeper analysis of the project out in the interwebs yet. So I thought it'd be wise to do my own fundamental analysis on the project and share that around in case anyone finds it useful. So with that, we'll jump in. So Marshall Rogan Inu. In my FA review, I like to cover 10 areas to form an overall investment view on a particular token. So that covers the project's use case, the industry, the team, white paper, the funding, partnerships, tokenomics, audits, the progress that the project has had thus far, and any upcoming dates that might impact the price of the token. So with MRI, the best way to sort of sum it up would be a hybridization of a meme coin and a social slash charity token that's built on top of Ethereum as an ERC20. Although leveraging the strength of meme branding and marketing, it actually serves more of a industry-related social token by sponsoring MMA and UFC fighters and paying them in crypto, essentially. So, look, the way that I like to think about this is that it's like a fan token, like the ones that are built on chilies, like, Paris Saint-Germain or Barcelona or the Manchester City tokens that are out there, but sort of in reverse, right? So instead of the fan incentives and perks that those tokens provide, MRI actually serves more as a pool of capital to pay fighters and provide sponsorships and fund medical treatment to support participants in that industry. So how does it do this? So it has some pretty unique charitable tokenomics that are built into the smart contract, but we'll look into that in a little bit. So jumping over to the industry, so I like to spend a bit of time and look at the real world industry that the project is actually looking to disrupt, and how saturated that industry actually is. So as mentioned, this is really just a social and charity token masquerading as a meme coin. Meme tokens obviously have exploded, in popularity from 2020 onwards. Plus, there seems to be a bit of a rise with these industry-related sport tokens. Obviously, the biggest being those on the Chili's platform with the fan tokens for football. But this is a space that's only going to grow, in my opinion. Boiling it down to this particular project, like while it can garner the marketability of Joe Rogan and the hypeability of the meme tokens, particularly those that have missed out on things like the run in Shiba and Doge and whatnot. What stands out that's different about this project is how it's incorporating a charitable element to be able to pay the fighters in the MMA industry, right? So why are they doing that? In the project's own words, while many fighters are professionals, many of them are still not in the best of financial positions. So while the average UFC fighter earns 146K, the guys at the bottom can earn as little as 10 to 20K. So, and then they've put to put that into perspective, they've got a little infographic that I've put up here, which basically boils down to, if you're at the bottom end of that spectrum, you're only netting 9K per fight. So, this is essentially just subsidizing those guys so they can continue on and support themselves financially whilst they're making their journey in the industry. So for me personally, I think this is a pretty clever use case of merging crypto, behavioral economic principles, the sort of social slash charity token space. And honestly, I can absolutely see this being emulated across other industries. Additionally, on top of that, the team claims that they've made that they will make donations to research facilities such as the Cleveland Clinic, which funds research projects to help athletes deal with various aspects of combat injuries such as brain trauma, etc. So there's a fair bit of benevolence just packed into the project. But is it a good investment? So far it sounds good, right? Like you buy a token, it goes to the moon while your benevolence gets automated to help out people in need at the same time, right? Is it a good investment? That's the real question. So you really need to spend time and dive through all the other components and not get caught up too much in the hype if you're going to be throwing a sizable amount into this project. So if you spend a bit of time looking at the team, which I do because many projects that I invest in are under development at the time of investing. And for me, it's crucial to spend that time researching the founder's professional educational track record. So are they doxed? Are they anon? It goes a long way in giving it a tick or a fail, really. So MRI appears to be an anon team here. And look, I'll point out while anons aren't inherently bad actors, this one for me does pose a huge red flag, as there is no track record to go on here at all, like zero. I have reached out to the dev, which goes by the name Bryce, for further info, but as of the time of recording, I've yet to receive any comment. So at face value, for me, the ruggability of the liquidity in the protocol seems low due to the benevolence and just the amount of actors and participants in the industry that have thrown their support behind it. I mean, there'd be a lot of egg on a lot of people's faces if this got rugged. But it's important to note that stranger things certainly have happened, right? There's nothing really stopping these anon devs from rugging a marketing wallet that has over $2 million and growing and firing that up into Tornado Cash and cashing out, right? So what happens to, the question I ask is what happens when this gets to a marketing wallet of 20 million or 50 million, 100 million? That's going to be pretty tempting under the current structure. And I'm certainly not saying that that's going to happen, but I'm just pointing out that structurally it is certainly possible. The first thing that comes to mind for me would be like the Nomi Chef and sushi rug, in the days gone by. Like that was very similar to where we're at with this project. But again, not saying it's going to happen, but is definitely a red flag for me. So with the white paper, it's essential to get a good understanding of all the underpinnings of what makes up the project and, how likely it is to succeed in the long run with their long-term vision. So they've released their light paper in the last few days. So to me, I've had a look. It leaves a lot more questions than answers for me. When there was no white paper to analyze, I mean, it was very early stage and you can understand that it's higher risk, but now that there is one, it's a bit of a red flag because there's no deeper info for me to analyze in that. So like questions I have are like, what's the projected utility to holders, right? What's the business plan beyond what seems to be just creating a viral marketing play along the meme coin space? What's the development tax used for, and what's the plan to grow LP pools beyond the Uniswap pair? Like is it going to branch out to other chains? All of that stuff is unknown at this point. Plus the big unknown with the anon side of it is who's managing the marketing fund and to what extent. I mean, there's no business plan behind this, so you just got a bit of blind faith in a couple of anon as the dev team. So funding, I usually take the time to find out if the project behind the token has previously raised VC or private equity. If they have, knowing which firms or angel investors have backed the project can tell you a lot about how promising the solution is going to be, right? This is applicable for most projects, but for MRI, there's no funding today. Partnerships, Examining the quality of a project's partnership, both native and external to the crypto space, is often a good way to figure out how promising their solution and thus the value of its underlying token. The team cites partnerships with more than 40 fighters, and they've begun to be paid and are voicing the project aggressively through social media. This is only going to increase exposure, in my opinion, and price basically is going to rise as a result. So just because we're at this super early stage of the project. But there are question marks around the extent of the partnership. To me, like, it just seems as though they're paid shills at this point. On their in their Whitepaper, the model that they've highlighted here is in exchange for bringing recognition to the project via social media posts and live during fighting events. These athletes receive direct deposit of Ethereum and the native MRI token, which they can then use to liquidate and pay for their expenses, right? So look, dance around it all you like, they are paid shills. They have a direct interest in seeing the project succeed, so of course they're going to shill it hard. Alas, the team has given out 500,000 to various fighters so far. So for me, I think that's impressive and is only going to bring more exposure in the short term. Further, the team has created a partnership with Mystic Bets, which is a betting platform on Ethereum. So that's pretty cool. For those that are in the industry and who are fans of the industry, that the people that are going to be holding the MRI tokens, they'll be able to use those tokens to bet in a decentralized way through the platform. So it gives the token a bit more utility beyond just simple charity. So I think that's pretty cool. Tokenomics. So for me, it's crucial to understand the function of the token that I'm investing in. So the way that the token captures value varies tremendously. So like you got layer ones, for instance, that they're like ETH and Sol. They're fundamentally different to utility tokens like Binance Coin or Build and Build Coin, I should say, and FTT, which is further fundamentally different from governance tokens. So where does MRI sit, right? Well, this one's a little funky and just has a few ingredients that smell like a scam. I'm not saying it is, but that's just the reality. First, there's a total supply of 1 billion tokens. It's unclear as how many are in circulating supply at the moment, which begs the question, how many are yet to be dumped on the market? Second, the project incorporates buy-side and sell-side taxes, of which is used to fund the LP on the Uniswap pool, along with the dev and marketing funds. So, diving into this a little deeper, I found that there's sort of conflicting information between the website and the Whitepaper in regards to the breakdowns of these. Whereas you can see on the website, there's slight tweaks between the buy and sell taxes and where those splits go. This is a variable part of the smart contract, so the dev team can change this at will. Notably, in their Twitter Spaces, they've taken the buy side taxes off to sort of encourage people to buy, and that seems to have done wonders for the price in those particular events. But they can change this, and that's built into their smart contract. So for me, any token that has a buy and sell tax incorporated in the contract should be a bit of a flag, though with the charitable component of the project, it does provide justification. The ongoing dev fees, however, are a major red flag for me, so there's no data on where that money goes. For audits, so security audits are one of the most important parts, particularly if you're investing in a non-meme tokens or any DeFi yield protocols. The project announced that they've engaged with Certic and Solidity to audit their smart contracts. and I was able to confirm that. So notably though, these are under assessment at the moment and they haven't been completed yet, so just be aware of that. So the progress. The project is extremely early stage, like we're, I think, 22 days old here, and completing phase 3 of what is essentially just a marketing roadmap. Albeit they do seem to be making lightning progress on that, and have paired up with 40 fighters so far, plus with Mystic Bets. They've also just announced that they've listed on the Bitmart exchange, which is a decent step towards centralized exchange exposure. For me, with the project now in phase 3, I sort of would like to see a clearer picture of what phase 4 is going to be, and when that's going to be announced. We're yet to see what happens beyond this sort of hyping up roadmap. For the upcoming dates, this goes for both investors and traders. So knowing what news and price catalysts are on the horizon is usually wise. Typically, price will become more volatile leading up to a key date. So, like think VC token unlocks or major upgrades like Columbus 5 or ETH2, etc. The news that MRI is now listed on Bitmart is great. Noting in their roadmap they do seem intent on trying to get to be able to speak to Joe Rogan himself. Look, if that happens short term, this thing will explode on that hype. Pairing that, if they get more listings on more centralized exchanges and more places to trade, liquidity grows, more participants. I mean, this thing has all the recipes to blow up in the short term, that's for sure. So, final thoughts. I think the potential for this type of project is huge, and I do like many components of it. Incorporating an industry, charity, and social dynamics into a meme token certainly is new. The project has engaged with an impressive array of fighters already, and through the fees generated, they are following through with the project's mission and paying the fighters. I can see other industries copying this model in time, and I do believe there's already a few copycat tokens that are already out on DEX tools and DEX Screener. So keep an eye out for those if you're into this sort of space. Albeit, look, I think this happens better through a DAO and a DAO type of structure rather than a non-dev team. So it just eliminates a lot more of the risk in investing any sizable position here. So all that being said, there are way too many flags hanging over MRI to ape into any sizable position at this time. And I do find it an extremely high risk investment, right? At this stage, its sole functioning is on the economic activity of the token holders to generate that revenue through the buy and sell taxes. And that's what's funding the marketing wallet to expand. And look, it should keep going up in the short term, in my view. But if that stops or begins to unwind, the system rolls over. Currently, there's over 5,000 token holders, wallet addresses. So these, how loyal are these? It's obviously yet to be proven, what these participants are going to do. Obviously, everyone's in this for a profit. It's great to be able to incorporate benevolence into that, but just be clear here, everyone's in this to profit. So if it begins to unwind, this can fall over pretty quick. Of course, why is everyone in it? Why are people buying this token? On the flip side, if this is successful, there's every chance this blows up to $1 billion in market cap. Like, think Safe Moon and Shiba Inu and stuff, right? And it can't harm to have a ticket on the train, so long as it's something that you're prepared to lose, right? Because it is high risk. That being said, it's currently at an $80 million market cap at the moment, which is a 12.5x to 1 billion. So, there's space for it to certainly grow in the short term. So if you must YOLO, a small moonbag position in it should do the trick, in my opinion. please don't throw your life savings at it. Remember, you will be taxed 15% on the way out. So yeah, just keep that in the back of your mind. And that's it for today's video, guys. If you've watched this far and you like the content, please drop a like and subscribe. It really would help me reach more people. If you'd like to connect with me, you can follow me over on Twitter at fireinvestor_IO, or you can check me out on my website, which is fireinvestor.io. Over there, you can grab a copy of my 5-starter book, which is available to purchase on Amazon. Plus, I've got links to heaps of crypto merch and free Bitcoin. If anyone's interested, I do have a free weekly newsletter where I dissect topics relating to personal finance, investing, and crypto. The link is on my Twitter if you're interested. But that's all for today, guys. Thanks for tuning in. See you in the next one.